Okay, so now what we're going to do is look at what a screener might look like. And on a screener, what we want to do is have one or two problems. And then in those one or two problems, have two leading questions and maybe a solution question. So we're going to get 1 to 2 problems. We're going to get 3 to 6 questions. We don't want it to go anywhere more than 5 to 7 minutes in our screener. We just want to kind of know, do the kids have enough information? Do they have enough background to get started in the investigation? Okay. So what we want to know before we get into Uber versus Lyft is, do they understand the 4 basic legal moves for tiles? Okay. So we started with this equation, 7x minus 2 minus x equals 5x plus 3 minus 2. So we reminded them that anytime a color is blue or purple or dark blue, that's positive. And then anytime it's red, that's a negative. And just to flip, we can just click on the tiles and flip them. So right now we have 7 positive x's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we have 2 negative units, and then we have a negative x. Equals, on this side, we have 5 positive x's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 3 positive units, 1, 2, 3, and 2 negative units, 1, 2. So the first rule that we're going to talk about is, do you have any zero balances? Right? When you have the same unit or the same x, that's a positive and a negative. They cancel each other out and they make a 0. Okay. So we see on this side that we have an x and an x. We have a positive and a negative. And that's a 0 balance, so we can take them off the game board. Okay, no other 0 balances. But over here, we've got a 0, a positive and a negative make a 0. And we've got another positive and a negative that make a 0. So now we can pull those off the board. Equation's different now, right? So we now have on this side 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 x's. Subtract 2 or 2 negatives equals 5 x's plus 1 unit, 1 positive unit. Next, whatever we do to one side because they're equal, we can do to the other side. So that's another rule that we can adapt, another legal move. It's that because they're equal, we can add the same amount to each side or subtract the same amount from each side. So on this side, if I look at x's, I'm going to take 5 away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And guess how many we're taking away from this side? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to take the same amount from each side. 5 there and 5 there. Okay, so now our equation looks like this. 1x, 2 negatives equals 1 positive. Now the next thing that we can do, we can tell the kids that anytime that these cross, they flip signs. Or if we move this over here, it would flip signs. Or we tell them to create zeros by adding to each side. So I see 2 negatives over here. So to make these zeros, I would have to add 2 positives, right? So I'm going to go here. And I'm going to add 2 positives over here. Now, since I added 2 positive ones over here, I got to do the same over there, right? I have to add 2 over there. And then these create 0 sum. So now our equation looks like this. X equals 3. So we're thinking, well, that's got to be our solution, right? So now we can plug 3 in and double check our solution. X equals 3. All right, so let's get into here. And let's see. Let's look at this equation up here and say 7 times 3 is 21. 21 subtract 2 is 19. 19 subtract 3, that's what x is 16. So on the left side of the equation, we have 16. What about the right side? 5 times 3, 15. Plus 3, 18. Subtract 2, 16. So 3 works as a solution because we have 16 on each side. Okay, so this is just an example of how we would set up a screener and some of the technology that we can use with the CPM tools and the screen shares and everything else to share that with the kids. Okay, so next let's go on to Uber and Lyft.